News 18 with me, and incoming is the big breaking news that we are bringing to you that BJP stalwart Mr. LK Advani will be conferred with the Bharat Ratna as has been announced by India's Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi. Let's quickly go across to Payal, who's also joining me on the phone line. Payal, this is big news coming in a day on a day where also a year where we've seen the inauguration of the Ram Mandir happened. Prime Minister Modi, as we are being told, has also apprised Mr. Advani about this award. Take us through the details that you're learning.
Well, of course, the Bharat Ratna being given to LK Advani is big news, given the fact that you have, spoken about the contribution that LK Advani, like the Prime Minister tweeted, has had towards nation building and, of course, strengthening the culture of the country. Remember, LK Advani is 96-year-old, currently a member of the BJP's, Margdarshak Mandal. Essentially, but he's also been somebody who's been an MP from Gujarat, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi comes from. He, in fact, has been the longest-serving BJP chief minister. He's had at least 3 terms as the party's chief minister. He was the home minister in the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government, followed by becoming the first deputy prime minister of the country as well. So this is big reward coming in for LK Advani because Akansha, nobody can actually deny his contribution towards this whole Ram Mandir movement.
Right.
Remember, it was his Ram Mandir Yatra that actually had a huge impact, and it comes in at a very critical juncture when the Pran Pratishtha has just taken place of the Ram Mandir. Also, because of health reason, LK Advani was not able to make it for the Pran Pratishtha ceremony. But of course, his contribution as far as this cause is concerned is something which the BJP or nobody else wants to undermine. So it's a big development coming to the fore. Remember, the opposition parties had in fact questioned the Narendra Modi government, saying that you've sidelined LK Advani, you've undermined his contribution towards the whole Ram Mandir movement. But here you are. This is the highest civilian award being given to LK Advani. So two Bharat Ratnas being given this year. One for Karpuri Thakur for raising the voice of the backward classes, and of course LK Advani for his immense contribution towards the nation building, like Prime Minister Narendra Modi has met him and tweeted, and you can see a smiling LK Advani this morning. Right. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been able to meet him.
Absolutely. In fact, for all our viewers who are tuning into this breaking input, let's elaborate on those images that they can see on the screen. That's Prime Minister Modi apprising Mr. LK Advani of this big news that he'll be conferred with the highest civilian honor, the Bharat Ratna. As you can see, Prime Minister Modi is holding a bouquet of flowers over there, which he's gifting to Mr. LK Advani. On that note, let me also bring in Aman, who is also on the phone line with us. Aman, many critics have in fact gone on to say that this is also a move to sort of placate Advani with the Bharat Ratna, the man who was denied the country's presidency. But how do you place this into perspective, considering you also heard those kind of contributions he's made to the NDA government, not to forget the entire movement as far as the Ram Mandir is concerned?
Definitely, Akanksha. See, now the two tallest leaders of the BJP, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Mr. LK Advani, both have been conferred the Bharat Ratna by the Narendra Modi government. Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, we know, was given the Bharat Ratna in 2015, and now we see Mr. LK Advani also be given the two tallest leaders of the BJP. Of course, Mr. LK Advani is a co-founder of the Bharatiya Janata Party. He's been a long-time member of the RSS, the longest-serving Home Minister of the country, also the longest-serving leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, was the prime ministerial candidate of the BJP during the 2009 general election. In a way, this silences, those critics, who have been accusing Mr. Narendra Modi of sidelining the senior-most BJP leaders like Mr. LK Advani or be it Murli Manohar Joshi. I think a major award because, this also recognizes, the two icons of the BJP, their contribution to the party, their contribution to the, the larger cultural and nationalistic, movement in the country. We all know how Mr. LK Advani was the pioneer of the entire Ram Janmabhoomi movement, the Rath Yatra that he carried out across the country. All those contributions have been acknowledged, and very interesting move. This is the 7th Bharat Ratna given under the Narendra Modi government since 2014. So a major thing, and as Payal was mentioning, the other major Bharat Ratna this year was to Mr. Karpuri Thakur, the socialist icon, and now a Bharat Ratna for Mr. LK Advani at the age of 96, Narendra Modi government, and Narendra Modi in his own words acknowledging the big contributions of LK Advani to the country, and this acknowledgement, I think, silences all those critics, especially in the Congress party, who have been accusing Mr. Modi of, in a way, sidelining Mr. LK Advani. His tweet, if I look at that, Advaniji's decades-long service in public life marked by an unwavering commitment to transparency and integrity. Also, this important line where he says that he He made unparalleled efforts towards furthering national unity and cultural resurgence. The Prime Minister also saying that the conferring of the Bharat Ratna on Mr. LK Advani is a very
Right.
emotional moment for him.
Right.
We have seen Mr. Modi visit Mr. LK Advani often, in fact, on his birthday and on other occasions at his home. And those pictures today speaking a story. Akansha.
Absolutely. In fact, I'm going to request you, Aman, to continue staying with us. Payal, stay with us. And I'm also joined in by Pallavi on the phone line. Pallavi, another political consideration could also have been that the decision may have been impacted to give this Bharat Ratna could have been impacted by the Supreme Court's order, because we all know that Mr. Advani has been prosecuted for criminal conspiracy in the Babri Masjid demolition case along with Uma Bharti and Murli Manohar Joshi. Do you think that could have been one concern which has sort of delayed the conferring of the Bharat Ratna? Many would want to ask, why didn't this happen earlier?
Well, I mean, I think that deep political messaging in every little honor which the Prime Minister gives, whether it's the Padma Awards, that it's not going to be an award of entitlement, and you have to earn every award. And that's clearly the kind of message which has gone in from the Prime Minister, choosing Mr. LK Advani as, someone who gets the Bharat Ratna, coming close on the heels of Karpuri Thakur have been given there. Even then, at that point of time, there was a deep political messaging there. Apart from the political message of what happened in Bihar, the larger message, of course, was the fact that he was also seen as a person who really fought for the downtrodden and the backwards. As far as Mr. LK Advani is concerned, I remember when he was made a part of what was called the Margdarshak Mandal, there were derogatory references to the Mandal. It was being seen as someone being pushed up and out, and there were always pot shots being taken at the Prime Minister, especially from the opposition parties like the Congress party, who would make the point that anyone who can be seen as perceived to be a threat to the Prime Minister is always pushed out. In fact, if you remember, Akaksha, during the Pran Pratishtha also, there were much talk and debate about why is a man who is considered to be one of the main architects of the entire Ram Janmabhoomi movement not being called for it, not being invited for him? Why was he not even present there? Why was Prime Minister hogging the show? I think this is the Prime Minister's very, very strong response to that. A man who's been the Deputy Prime Minister, someone who was considered to be one of the iron-fisted Home Minister. I don't even have to mention the kind of legacy he also has and the kind of responsibilities he held. But it's a very clear-cut political messaging ahead of the Lok Sabha elections, and also just after the Pran Pratishtha, that everyone who mattered with the Ram Janmabhoomi movement matters to us, needs to be honored, and anyone who has guided the principles of the BJP's movement also is someone who's going to be honored by the Prime Minister.
That's a very interesting point that you've made, Pallavi, when you talk about Advani's contribution, not just to the Bharatiya Janata Party, but also to the entire nation. Payal, if I could bring you in on the point that was being made by Pallavi, the fact that Advani joined RSS in 1942 under the aegis and leadership of Mahatma Gandhi. He was also someone who, instead of joining the Quit India movement, in fact went on to become part of the RSS, an integral part of the RSS. Also somebody who worked towards establishing Veer Savarkar as a national hero.